Thank you all for joining us. Welcome to Azure Infinitum Podcast. This is your host, Reika Fujishima, also known as Hikaru Kazushime, around the AzureNet universe, online world, and beyond. Joined with me here today is our Defensor, Rakvasha, and Major Pain. Thank you guys for joining
Howdy
us.
doody.
All right, so we have had an interesting month. We've got a number of 14 events running right now. We have got some expansions. Yes, expansions, it's plural, on the horizon. We have got quite a lot going on. It's been pretty interesting. Between all of the pre-expansion events that they're doing in 14, there's a lot going on. There's preparation for Azure. There is a lot of folks coming back, getting ready for Dawn Trail. It's been pretty exciting, and we are just a couple days away from the job actions trailer / letter from the producer live for FF14, where they're going to talk about job changes and some reveals on new stuff that's coming out here with Dawn Trail and the jobs and changes and such. We're going to talk about some of our predictions / wish list for maybe some job changes and stuff we'd like to see them do with the new ones as well. Coming up next month in the 14 Dawn Trail expansion. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about our plans with kicking off the expansion in our community, and how events are going to kind of flow through, going through a pause phase and then come back, as well as how we're going to handle buffs in the near future here. And then later on in the podcast, we'll be talking a bit about some updates to some of the games we support in our Azure Wings, some of our services, our status of Ascension, and a few other things. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. So as for you guys here with me on the podcast, how are you guys doing? What are you guys up to lately?
I am doing wonderful.
That's good.
I just got home.
Yeah?
So I will be sounding normal shortly. I just got to feed my dogs and I'll be at my computer.
All good. Major, you've been playing a bunch of different games lately. Seen you Manor Lords and Bellwright and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Bellwright. Friggin' Rack. He got me onto it. He was streaming it one day.
Giving us some good suggestions. Been trying out. Manor Lords is interesting. It's kind of a popular new sort of RTS / Kingdom Builder sort of game. I've only spent a couple hours with it. I know Major, you spent
it's fun.
A bit more time with it.
Yeah, it's fun, but they definitely need to do some updates to it, because there's a lot of things in the game that you can't do at the moment that would make the game a lot better once they unlock it, because it's in kind of a pre-release.
It's in early access, yeah, at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then once Once they do that, I think it'll level out. But that game's been in development for what, like 7 years, I think, and it's only got like one person working on it. Isn't that right, Rick? Isn't that?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, being that it's as far as it is at the moment, it's kind of actually really good.
Yeah, that's not bad for early access and small number of people working on it. Well, let's see here. Okay, so we have about, let's see, today
Stupid me.
is
Changed my mic.
11th. Okay, so we're looking at just a bit over a month and 2 weeks, I think, roughly. So about 6 weeks, roughly, till we get to the FF14 expansion. Then we've got a little under a month, actually, as well for the Elder Scrolls and Destiny 2 expansions that are also coming out. It's a busy year. Over in D2, we run a couple events a week for our Azure Wardens clan, which is celebrating its 3rd anniversary this year, and this September, actually. And recently, we announced a 2024 released a 2024 Azure roadmap, which we would like to talk about here shortly. The number of featured dates and milestones, things to look forward to, stuff like that. Of course, it doesn't feature every tiny little thing, but it is a lot of important dates on there. It's kind of like a good visual. I'll talk about that in a second. We, as far as our plans currently, we want everybody to know in our community that just a few more weeks from now is when our weekly event schedule for FF14 specifically is going to go on a hiatus. We want to give everybody a couple weeks in our logistics team, and for those that attend pretty regularly, a little bit of a break. This is definitely not our first rodeo. We've been through every expansion in the game as a community, so we kind of know how to gauge like activity and know what to expect when it comes to all that prep pre-expansion. A lot of people prefer to have like a couple weeks of just chill. We do like run these things every day for years, so it's nice to have a little bit of a break for just a couple weeks leading up to the expansion. And then what we're going to expect to see, most likely, or at least what we're predicting, is a pretty big like lull, like a drop in content, kind of like a quiet activity, kind of like a quiet phase just before the expansion. It's usually what happens, and then like very close to it, approaching that June 28th early access launch, which is at the end of next month. Mid-month, I would expect it to be just like super chill. It's kind of almost getting there throughout the game. You can kind of feel the vibes, like it's coming, but a lot of people right now are doing like a lot of last minute things. We're going to kind of see that again just before launch, and then kind of like a quiet phase for a little bit, and then bam, it's going to come out. And so our plans is to just be as ready as possible. And we've talked a little bit about this in the past, what that kind of means for our community. So when we say like FC or Dawn Trail readiness, our goal is to have plenty of the grade 3 buffs on hand, which is the ones that are like the special FC buffs that takes an FC crafting and charging them for real-time days at a time in order to obtain these special buffs. We are doing our traditional daily grade 3 EXP buffs throughout the expansion's first 2 months or so roughly 60 days of grade 3 daily, which is really awesome because normally an FC would normally only get 8 of those a month at max. So it's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes to get some of that ready. And got quite a bit in store, so we want to make sure that with the level caps raised and all that we are able to supply like a very large EXP boost for the community. Also, with the Make It Rain Golden Saucer MGP bonus here coming up in the near future, we want to make sure that we also supply the FC with some MGP buffs as well. So the Grade 3 MGP buffs. We're going to do some of those, and what we consider a secondary buff, one of the two of the day, will be extra MGP. So during the 14 or 15 day period of the Make It Rain event that's coming up in 14, where MGP is buffed, we're going to also buff MGP with our FC buff. It's a once a year event where there's usually always an MGP buff for Gold Saucer type events. So anything that would earn MGP gets a percentage buff to it. And
that's 15 days, right?
I believe it's for 15 days. Starting pretty soon. I think it's the 15th, 14th or 15th. It's on the roadmap here. That's gonna be pretty soon. Like I said, anything that gets Golden Saucer MGP is gonna get a buff, and then our FC buff will also. So it's a game-wide buff plus an FC buff. So it's gonna be kind of nice. Good time to farm MGP. Good time to make sure you do your weekly jumbo, just in case. Plus the fashion report is always highly suggested. Gives you quite a bit. Things like that. So there is a couple new items for the event itself. It's coming. There's like this Kappa suit and a new table and outside lamp that I saw. So that's kind of cool. Kappa suit is a reference to Sakaguchi, the father of Final Fantasy. During FanFest, he came out in a Kappa suit and asked Yoshi if they could please have it in the game. So what did he do? He decided to make it part of the Make It Rain event, because something as cursed looking and silly as a Kappa suit should follow, or should appear in an event that's also kind of lighthearted. So there's also the Dragon Quest event starting up next month as well. We'll see that here on the roadmap in a second. But as for Azure plans, we've been keeping a lot of buffs charging, and we definitely have been working on organizing as much of our resources as possible, and we are really looking forward to anyone else who's interested in joining our community coming aboard. We've definitely been keeping our recruitment up and want to make sure that every area of our community is fine-tuned to where things are as efficient and organized as possible. So let me see.
So as far as Aether Wheels, I will have, as of today, in approximately 1 hour, all 60 days worth done for our expected launch. As of today, I will start the 15 days worth of Aether Wheels for the MGP event, but those will be done in time.
Yeah, so I'll have the FC buffs up and for the MGP and Make It Rain. Let me see here. It's 5:15. 5:15 is when it begins. So that's just 3 days from now? 4 days from now. 4 days from now. So I'm gonna see here if I can pull this up. Yes, there we go. Okay. So on the stream now is the Azure Infinitum Community Roadmap 2024. This is basically what we're looking at for all the most major, main stuff. We know that we can't fit everything on here, but let me see here. Is that my mouse is not showing up on the stream? Okay, that's okay. So starting with May, we already had the FF16 crossover, so hopefully everybody got their Ifrit fight in and got their Torgal Doggo. The Moogle Treasure Trove is coming in 3 days. That's the second hunt for Genesis. So there's a number of rewards on that. You can go to Lodestone and check out the event page for that. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that's past rewards or things from raids and duties. The usual rewards that we see with these kind of things. So like some mounts that might not be commonly obtained that they put on there. Things you can earn from doing Moogle Treasure Trove events. You guys usually do the Moogle Treasure Trove, or do you usually have everything?
Normally, I have everything, but I might do it this time just for the treasure maps.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah, I plan
portal
on
maps.
stocking up on the treasure maps as well.
And those are guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed portals, right?
Yep. Guaranteed 90 portals. I'm gonna grab some as well.
Unfortunately, that doesn't guarantee the loot or floors.
Oh yeah, that would be nice too, wouldn't it? Guaranteed loot, definitely. Yeah, for me it's about the same. I usually have most of the stuff that's on the Moogle Treasure Trove list, but there's always like maybe one pesky old mount that I didn't go after, or maybe like that one orchestrion roll that didn't drop or something. So it's kind of nice for that kind of thing. Make It Rain, like we've been talking about, is the MGP. That's the MGP buff Gold Saucer event coming. Then we've got Letter from the Producer live on 16th, and that is the one that's confirmed to discuss the job action changes, as well as should get the trailer, the usual trailer, pre-expansion job action trailer, so we'll be able to like visually see some of those new skills and stuff. And in just a moment, we're going to be talking about what's on our wish list for the job changes and actions. Then Make It Rain ends towards the right at the end of the month, actually, on the 31st of May. And then also on the roadmap, I put SWTOR update 7.5 there because we really don't know if it's dropping May or June. There was a recent developer stream where they talked about the Desperate Defiance, which is the name of the new patch, what's coming, the updates to the story, and what's going on there. We got a little bit of a hint and a preview. If you check any Azure social media, we've actually got the preview trailer that's up. It's not even a full trailer. It's just it's like a video that's a cutscene, and it says "Art Not Final," and it kind of gives you an idea of what's happening in the story in the new patch. But they've been kind of weird about saying like, oh yeah, we've got a spring event coming. Spring, like we're entering summer, but they're like, we got a spring event coming here with the new patch or something, and it's like, okay, well, when is it dropping? There's no date yet, but I guess they're going to do that last minute. So it's either going to be May. It's probably like, why would it be June if there's like a spring event coming in it? So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But that's on the horizon. Usually when they start doing the developer stream for the patch and show a trailer of some sort, it's usually on the horizon within a couple weeks. So as far as what I've experienced, but I've been playing it for about a year and a half. So if we do get that new patch, it's gonna be cool. There is some stuff from that the developers talked about in a recent stream for SWTOR. That Star Wars: The Old Republic I'm talking about, for those who don't know the abbreviation there. So for that update 7.5 or patch 7.5, I'm just going to mention a couple things when we talk about our Wing games later. Now, if we look at June, June's the big month. Big month. Holy crap! Look at that. June 3rd, Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road comes out. That is on the 3rd. For those that may be playing ESO in our community or interested in it or are out there and you play it, it's a whole new region being added. Anybody that's ever looked at ESO or played it can see on the world map there's like spots that's very obvious that they fill in over time. And so there's still plenty of big spots. And the spot getting filled in this time is the West Weald. There's an all-new Daedric Prince that's never been talked about before in Elder Scrolls that they made just for this storyline. And it is it's pretty interesting, actually. We've also got Destiny 2, The Final Shape, coming out the day after ESO's expansion launch. So Final Shape is a very, very highly anticipated expansion for Destiny. I'll also mention a couple things about that later in the podcast. But the Final Shape is basically the ultimate conclusion, the Endwalker, if you will, to Destiny, being the finale of this like over 10-year saga. They call it the Light and Darkness saga, and there's a new subclass. There's going to be a lot of new coming, and a lot of changes coming too. One of the biggest changes is the changes to bounties. They're eliminating like a third or more of the bounties that are out there and just consolidating them into one type. So that's gonna be interesting. As well as a story, a lot to anticipate there. The Dragon Quest event begins in F14 on the 5th of June, so that's one day after Final Shape drops. Then mid-June, about roughly a month from now, in a couple days, will be the next live letter from the producer for 14. That stream comes literally 2 days under a month from the one happening in a couple days. So I believe that is like our final update from Yoshi P and the devs via stream, leading up to the Dawn Trail launch for early access, which is exactly 14 days after. 14 days after that live letter. So June 14th is the next live letter. That's after the one happening in a couple days. That's live letter 82, and then 2 weeks from that is when Dawn Trail launches. And let's see here. You guys looking forward to any of the expansions next month besides Dawn Trail? Into ESO or Destiny?
Just Dawn Trail.
Just Dawn Trail.
Just on trail.
Yeah. Well, that is what most people in our community are looking forward to. But there's a good chunk of us that are really anticipating Final Shape.
Well, the biggest reason that I'm excited for Dawn Trail is the Endwalker arc for Hyde and Zodi. It was an amazing arc, right? From start to finish, everybody loved the story. Everything came together at the end, and it was amazing. I am excited to see what the next step is. Where are they going to go from here to one-up themselves into a whole new saga? And I think a lot of us are just so interested in the new setting, the new everything, and just seeing exactly how they plan to push forward into that.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we know so far is we are going to Tyrol via invitation to fight in their little leader tournament thing, and I don't really know how that's going to play out. But knowing the writers of 14, it's probably going to start with that and end with something really crazy. I have a lot of theories, just looking from a lore perspective at what we've seen in artwork. We've got, really interesting kind of, how do we describe Tyrol? It's very Aztec-y. Some
Ergon.
areas that are a little bit more yeah, maybe.
Mamul baby.
There's a lot of
I saw
Mabuja, a lot of like tribal and Aztec-y aesthetics, and we are seeing some really advanced looking technology somewhere in Tyrol as well, at the Solution 9 city. I think it's a city. And of course, there's an area called Heritage Found, which looks like as if somebody came from another world and set up a settlement after discovering the source. And I don't know. It's really interesting. One of the artworks you can clearly see in Eorzean script says Soul Supply, which is interesting. Wondering if that wasn't like some kind of like I don't know, like kind of like how travelers going to another world will be in like a cryogenic type thing where they freeze themselves to travel. Instead of that, it could be like they're storing their souls for the journey or something like that. And I don't know. They could have been something like that. Could have been people from another world. I don't know. Regardless, so it's pretty interesting. I think we're going to discover something really, really big that, like you said, Rack, it's going to lead into that next 10 years of story that they've been talking about. Yeah. Let me see here. We could easily have the whole podcast become Dawn Trail like theories and story talk. So going back to the roadmap here. Let's see here. So we discussed the 14 event hiatus for our community coming roughly mid-month. We put 6/16, so it's June 16th on the roadmap as kind of an idea of when that would happen. That should be a pretty good estimate on the day that it happens. Like we put on here that some of these listings are subject to change, and additions may actually be added to the roadmap as well. So just keep an eye on the announcements channel in Discord. If there is any changes to our roadmap, we'll announce it. But I think June 16th is the kind of the end of the line of the second week of stuff that we will have going on in June. I think that's a Sunday, so there will be like a Super Azure Slayer Sunday, and that will kind of conclude. Because our event week starts with a Tuesday and ends with a Sunday. It doesn't really start with Sunday for us. We start with reset day, and then we go through until the next Monday, and then but yeah, it'll be that will be it. Then we'll have a couple weeks off of those events. Dragon Quest event ends on the 20th, a few days later after event hiatus begins. And that is the same Dragon Quest crossover. So if you've done it before in 14, there won't be anything new. I believe you can play the event, but if you already got the rewards, then it's just a minion and a hat. So, but the slime hat is pretty popular. It only comes around every so many years. So, the jiggly hat. Let me see here. So yeah, Moogle Treasure Trove is going to be up until the 24th of June. So earlier we said it starts on the 14th here. That's 3 days from now, but running all the way until just a couple days before Dawn Trail launch. Yokai Watch also, that one's also ending next month, just a few days before Dawn Trail as well. And of course, we've got the FF14 Dawn Trail early access launch, and that's going to be something. Going into July, we have the official day of launch on the 2nd, followed by it looks like ESO Update 43 is going to land in that area. Anything that's on this roadmap with question marks are things that, are basically, good guesses, basically, like a really good guess, because obviously, like, as you see in August, there's events that we know happen in August. We just don't have a date until we get there. So, we've also got the Arcadian raids and the event schedule return that should be in July. It would be odd for them to wait another month from that to put the Arcadian 8-man raids in 14, because it would seem like they'd have that a few weeks in, and then would have Savage the month following. Savage is also usually around the same time we get maps in 14, so I bet there's been a couple things different with the way the last expansion and the one before that even was handled. So we got on this pattern for a really long time that we got used to, and then things got a little weird with between Shadowbringers and Endwalker, thanks to COVID. But in August this year, we'll be doing our early August tradition again, Celebration in the Azure Sky, a single few-hour sort of celebratory mid-year event that we do. It is not an Azure Day. It is more of a observance / small mini festival that we'll do for a day. There is a lot of milestones in our history that have happened at the start of August. And the last time that we actually skipped last year. It was a very difficult time for me, IRL, last year. But prior to that, we had a very good celebration in Azure Sky in 2022, celebrating August milestones in the community and how significant they've been to developing our community. So look forward to that being a very active month, because we've also got on the 23rd to 25th of August, we're looking at the official dates already posted. Normally, these would be announced at a Grand Assembly, usually the month of or the month prior. So this is like very much ahead of time being shown that we have Azure Summerfest coming up at the end of August there. I mean, usually you can guess that it's the last weekend of August, but and also Azure Grand Duel Tournament, which will be the 25th, the very 25th one ever, 25th, not really anniversary, but the 25th Azure Grand Duel Tournament. That's our 1v1 tournament taking place in August. It will be returning. We We didn't put that any sooner because it's usually paired around a Azure Day celebration or a special event celebration type event like Azure Days, Summerfest, seasonal events that we do, that kind of thing. So it's usually paired close to that. There's no real reason for us to try and put that on around the downtime before Dawn Trail or after during the most, hype and excitement period, because everybody wants to play Dawn Trail and we don't really want to try to hype something that we need a lot of people for when there's that crucial period of time of an expansion launch. So by that point, Dawn Trail will have been out for almost 2 months, and we'll see lots of celebrations going on in August there. And then we've got the Moonfire Fair and the Rising, which is the 14th anniversary event, taking place around that time as well. And you can't see it on the screen because my logo on the screen is covering it, but there's only one listing in September, because September is a very blank month for us and for the games and everything right now. It's kind of super blank, but it does say the Azure Warden's Clan 3rd anniversary on it for September. And then October, November, and December has got its own chunky list of stuff, going based on previous patterns. We will, of course, should have Azure Saints Wake 2024. That's our rendition of All Saints Wake that's in FF14. Then we will be seeing the Witches Festival in ESO, no doubt. Last year was really interesting. They did like a whole entire trial. There was like a trial boss, and all kinds of stuff, mounts, minions, all kinds of fun stuff to get there. And 7.1 FF14 patch, that is a complete guess in October, but it feels very likely due to past patterns. The 7.1 patch, when it does come out, will no doubt have the Echoes of Vana'diel raid. That's the 24-man raid. So, per our usual tradition, the 24-man raids will take over the Tuesday raid slot after we've done the Arcadian raids, which should be around July, for several months at that point. And very much looking forward to Echoes of Vana'diel. Very much. You guys excited for the FF11 raids coming this year?
You already know I am. That FF11 took up too many years. Actually, not enough years of my life, and I absolutely loved every minute of it.
Yes, I will probably run it even when I'm blocked out of loot.
Yeah, Major,
I
know
just
you
hope
played
it's
11
welcome
too, didn't you?
themes.
Yep, I played 11 for many, many years.
So we're all 11
Many,
vets
too
here.
many years.
Just give me... all I want it to be is a level 10 to 20 leveling in Volcrum Dunes. Old party style. Like, that's all I want. Like, don't even give me bosses. Don't give me raid mechanics. I just want...
And the second set will be in the jungle.
Whole raid of just crabs.
Yeah, exactly. Just pulling lizards and goblins, and pulling crabs and pugs.
I have a good feeling.
Dodging the Emperor.
Yeah.
I got a
my
good
Empress
feeling they're going to
hairpin.
do that. They're going to have some kind of callback or throwback to that. And the FF11 crossover that comes to 14 every now and then, does have a crab fighting on the beach of Costa del Sol reference to the famous Volcrum Dunes Crabathon for the early levels in the game. So, yeah, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something. No doubt, we've already seen the Shadow Lord artwork, so it's obvious that the Shadow Lord will be making an appearance somehow. And then, of course, Destiny 2 every October has Festival of the Lost. That's always a lot of fun, and it would be interesting to see if we can get our clan to actually do some stuff together during that. That would be fun. And of course, complete speculation based on past patterns. SWTOR update 7.6 by that time should be out, or should be being talked about at least. So November is our 10th anniversary month, the 10th year that Azure Infinitum has been active since founding as a community. 10 years. That's something. That's something we definitely want to give some extra special attention to. It's a huge milestone. The 10th anniversary of Founding Day is 11/2, so November 2nd. And then that same day this year also is the first Saturday of November. And it's a tradition of ours for the first Saturday to be what we call Picture Day, or Anniversary FC Photo, as it says on the roadmap there. That basically is just a single event that is a one big gathering of as many people in the FC as we can get in one spot, so that we can take a anniversary photo. And this is going to be the 10-year photo, guys. Like, man, the 10-year photo. It's almost surreal to me in a way, just to think about it being literally the 10th year. But man, pretty crazy. No, how do you guys feel about that? About our 10th year this year?
Yeah, it's no
Ooh.
big deal. No, no, I think it's awesome that this community has survived and thrived throughout the last decade. I mean, when you say how many years it's been, it's insane that it goes by that fast.
Nope. Certainly feels that way sometimes.
I was just a baby when I first came here. A baby little adventure.
Still
Going
are.
on 9 years ago for you, Defensor.
Yes.
That's pretty close to 9 years out of our 10-year anniversary. And so at the end of November, we've got 10th anniversary Azure Day weekend. So that's our 2-day celebration. So for those who have been paying close attention, we have not had normal Azure Days this year. Having such a big Summerfest coming after, which is coming after an expansion, so that's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of hype, and a lot of prizes, a lot of new stuff too. Prior to that, for those that keep an eye on our updates, you've seen our Ascension project, which will quickly give an update on here towards the end of the podcast. But that has been a big focus this year. Our community kind of as a whole has been just basically, we have been not only working on fine-tuning the events that we run, but doing a lot of recruitment for this year, very Dawn Trail minded. So more, I think, than any other time in the past, our community has been so expansion minded that we're like, okay, like we're going to focus on weekly events, recruitment. Folks have been working really closely with our council and getting our logistics divisions and things like that all completely solid. That the overall FF14 community, not just Azure, has been really chill this year. And so when we do a big weekend celebration, our goal is to put as much into it as possible and really just go all out. And to do that and put in that much time and effort, advertising, planning, saving up prizes, and building things that we have in our event mansions and stuff like that, it takes a lot of time and prep during a time that we know a lot of people are on break in 14, or also just taking things very chill. It's a little bit better for us to plan a little further ahead, like the August and November dates, than to put on something during such a slow time. So to make up for that, we have been doing like extra raffles at assemblies. We've been doing kind of just extra random raffles in general. We've been kind of trying a few different things with some events, and just having a lot of fun regardless overall, and keeping things kind of lighthearted. But the Azure Day-like celebrations will 100% return starting this August, and then of course, as you see, there's the 2 seasonal ones in October and December for Starlight Day and Azure Saints Wake, and the anniversary, of course, in November. And end the year with Starlight Day, we'll no doubt have Life Day returning to SWTOR, Dawning in Destiny 2, New Life Festival in ESO, and hopefully by the end of the year, ESO Update 44, which I think that's one of them. 43 and 44. 43 should be coming in July and 44 in December. Between that, there's a lot of housing and PvP stuff that they wanted to fine-tune in ESO this year. So we'll see how that goes. And that, my friends, is the community roadmap of major dates of things to look forward to this year in 2024. So it's quite a bit there. Quite a bit going on. Very, very busy year. And of course, that doesn't include all the other, little events from the games we support. That's mainly just the main, bigger things there. So, we spent quite a bit of time on that, but let's talk about the upcoming live letter. What do you guys have on your wish list for job changes?
Make Paladin more fun.
Make Paladin more fun. All right.
Give it, I don't know, make it less streamlined, more variation. Like I feel like with the last change to Paladin, where they kind of streamlined everything a little bit better and changed its combo up, I feel like now it's not as enjoyable. And I want more variation in my combo, or at least a better active window maybe, versus the current combination.
Okay. Well, I know that I miss when Goring Blade was a dot and having a little bit more to it. As a Paladin main, we've had a few big changes over the year. The loss of a stance and a little bit different of a
AoE
rotation.
heal.
You want an AoE heal?
The Paladin erase.
I want the AoE heal back that we used to have.
Mm-hmm.
The combo that you would do for the AoE heal. I forget what it was now because it's been a minute, but wouldn't it you did something like Divine Veil and then Requiesce or something like that to make it to where it did a AoE heal plus it did a regen on top of it.
Yep, Requiesce cut.
And I think, especially for like Savage content, that and a lot of times came in a pinch that the healers may have been down or something, and you needed to throw a quick heal up for the group, stuff like that. I think when they took that away, it made it harder for groups to get through content. I mean, that's just a small piece of the changes that they've made that has made content different, but
yeah, it also made a Paladin less desirable by pickup groups. Because there are other tanks that I won't say do the job better, but they may be more specialized for a lot of the Savage fights. And once they changed the toolkit that Paladin had, it became a little bit less desirable in the Savages. It doesn't parse as well. It doesn't mitigate as well. Like, there's just other jobs that may be better in those slots.
Damage-wise, Warrior and Healer are about the same, but Warrior is almost, in a way, better because of all of its mitigations at this point. Because they took away the one thing that made Paladin really good. And yes, I agree with you, Defensor. An emergency, like a 4-minute res on a Paladin would be awesome. Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
Defensor
Well,
is
I was
here.
expecting you to have a response to that.
Nope. Just
I mean,
like emergency, like give it a little bit of longer cooldown, but Paladins used to be able to raise, so why can't they?
yeah. I mean, even in Final Fantasy XI, they had raise. They got it later than everybody else, but they had it.
Yeah, it's in the name, Paladin.
Well, also.
Well, that's the premise of Paladin is is a tank healer, you know.
Alright.
Go ahead.
I was also just thinking about some of the other classes here. Red Mage, it would be they've added like a finisher at the end. They've added something new to that each time. Like it started out doing one big final attack, and then it gets added into now there's like a 3 at the end. It kind of makes me wonder if they're going to add a whole another finale move for Red Mage or not, or what they'll do with that. My other things are maybe like Summoner, make it a little bit less. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it because some people like the way Summoner is in Endwalker and some don't. It got such a massive change. It kind of feels like
Well,
instead
they
of
took
just
away all the attacks and whatnot that you could use your carbuncles for. Now it's just you do everything, and
yeah, it's kind of just
mainly
like
your carbuncle does nothing.
summon this thing, hit this button, and then go through the next one, kind of. And I don't know. It'd be interesting if they fine tune that. But as far as the new jobs go, the magical ranged Pictomancer and the scouting Viper, it's going to be kind of interesting. Since I was thinking last night actually that they will be sharing gear, so it makes me wonder the jobs that they share gear with. What will they do with those too? Like, is Ninja going to get any changes that are going to be very significant? And if for Pictomancer, it kind of makes you wonder about what kind of caster changes we're going to see. What do you guys think?
I think Viper's going to come really hot out the gate, and then once it gets dialed back to where it's balanced, it's going to be a worse Ninja. That's my hot take.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh,
I think it's going to be like Reaper and completely broken until they bounce it out.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be broken right out the gate. But once it gets balanced down, I see Ninja having more utility in its bag. But then again, I haven't seen the skills yet. So I'm being the voice of reason where everybody's like, Viper's going to be so cool, it's going to be awesome, and I'm just like, I think Ninja's going to do it better.
well, they said the same thing about Reaper before it came out. It was going to be so cool. Now, how many people do you see really playing Reaper? I mean, you might get one per group, but that's you don't get the plethora of them as when it first came out. I mean, it's going to be the same way.
Yeah, I think it's going to be too movement based. Just based on the trailer, I think it's going to be extremely movement based, just like Reaper and just like Dragoon.
I just want Ninja to get a single target dot again. They took it away, and I'm salty about that.
I want Dark Knight to be good again.
That too.
Hot take on Picto. I think Picto's just going to stay broken. It's going to be a better Black Mage. The end.
So
Or
the
Black
next
Mage.
healer they're going to come out is going to be a Master Chef, where to heal the group it hurls eggs at its party members, and then to damage the boss.
Well, then they better come out with Gourmand. I want to see the Gourmand from Final Fantasy. Was it 9? That's the only race that can play it.
And the teacher is
end.
either Gordon Ramsay or Guy Fieri.
Yep.
And that's the limit break. They come out and raise everybody's good food.
Yeah, I want my class quest guy to say, "Where's the lamb sauce?" And then
the lamb sauce.
Get the F out of my kitchen.
still remember one of his best insults was he told somebody it looked like an overgrown muffin.
Yeah. AoE heal's going to be Flavor Town.
Those were Picto. It kind of makes you wonder: is this like a buff mage, or how this is gonna play?
I got a feeling that it's gonna go along the same lines as similar to what a sage does, to where your buffs are gonna be dependent on how much damage you do on the boss.
I'm hoping it's a damage over time class. It's a dot mage. Because we don't really have that many, if any, that actually do like full on good dot power. And so I would love to see, like, if you get paint on the enemy and you build up paint stacks or something like that, like it can do a dot based on
Slop
one of the
stacks.
skills you use. Yeah. So let's say you use 4 spells, whatever, it gets like 4 paint stacks. You use one of your abilities that gives it a dot based on how many stacks it has. I would love to see something like that because I think that would be unique. But we'll see. I don't think it'll ever happen, but
I could be wrong on this, but it just feels like they don't like dots that much anymore. Like they just
I
keep
know.
taking them out. Like,
yep. Less and less poison, if you notice. The only dots that you ever really see are when you fail mechanics in like Savages and Extremes.
I thought Summoner had their dots where you could put a dot on somebody and then you could spread it to the group of mobs. I don't play Summoner all that much, and I leveled it to 90
That's
and
been
then
removed.
put it away.
That's in PvP, but I think that's been removed from PvE.
Mhm.
Oh,
I can't think of
Wow.
any dots that Summoner has anymore that's not in PvP.
oh wow.
Like they do the like the Garuda puts that AoE patch on the ground, but that's about it.
So
Yeah, because
that
they
would
also
be
took
the
a,
same. That would be the same way that what is it? Ninja puts theirs on the ground.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe they're converting, instead of doing dots, they're doing like a ground to AoE thing. And they're kind of converting over to that kind of a system instead of doing dots.
I hate it because
If that
tanks
makes
don't
sense.
pull into my dirt puddle.
Yeah, well,
Like I'll even put it down and they'll purposely pull the mobs out, and I want to throw a tuna fish at them.
you can switch over to Blue Mage, throw some fish.
well,
Sounds like a
that's
Blue
just
Mage thing.
because so many people when they tank, there's so many tanking styles that there's not a uniform tank style. I mean, I don't know how many dungeons I've been in that you could be in one and the tank will pull everything in the dungeon, and you'll be in one to where the tank wants to be in the middle of everything, and then you'll be in one where the tank actually pulls things in a cone, so the party's behind it. And part of that, I think it just comes down to there's a lot of people that don't understand the different classes. They play one class, and they don't understand, for example, how healers work. They don't understand how tanks work, and so they get kind of pinholed into their class, and they don't understand, how other classes work within the game.
Pull everything in dungeon, mitigate once, die, blame healer,
Correct.
tank.
Accidentally pop your invuln when you didn't mean to.
Oh yeah,
Follow
I have
ground in
to
the
figure
first
my
fight.
invuln all the time. Either that or provoke.
Proceed to do mechanics wrong, watch team die, try to solo boss as long as possible.
Shirk the healer.
So I'm wondering if
So-
Viper will have some cool AoEs when it combines the swords.
If there's one thing I really want to see with the job changes, it's have all the tanks catch up to Warrior, don't just nerf Warrior, and make Bard fun again. Because Bard is the black mage of ranged DPS, in my opinion. It's boring and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's every single attack sounds like you're just throwing a wet noodle at them.
I think, but to your point, Reika, I think Viper might have some decent AoEs. I think they'll be flashy.
Yeah.
Just the 2-sword to 1-sword double blade mechanic. I think there's a lot that they could do with the animations and everything with that.
Oh yeah.
I'm just worried that they're going to focus a lot on that mechanic that it's going to make the playstyle clunky.
Interesting thought. Kind of also was thinking like maybe when the swords combine, it'll be like at the end of a rotation that does some kind of like finale, but we'll see.
Like a dragoon jump.
Yeah, it could be something like that. So we got paint stacks and and lots of theories about tanking and ranged magic and DPS. And
You ready for another hot take? And this one's far down the road. Beastmaster. All right,
yeah,
so
I
hear me
was
out.
just thinking about that. I was gonna bring that up.
I thought about
What are
something
you
the
thinking?
other day, Reika.
What's that?
You know how Paladin has a shield? It's not considered really part of your eye level, like as much as everything else. It still gives like half your stats and everything, right? Because your sword gives
I
half.
think I know where you're going with this.
So in 11, Beastmasters had jugs.
They had what?
They had jugs that you could use.
Jugs. Oh my.
So
I got jugs.
They big jugs or small jugs?
we have the companion mechanic in 14 currently.
Uh-huh.
What I would love to see as a limited job, you being able to charm monsters, craft, like charm monsters or summon like a basic monster on the field or whatever, and that's your basic skills. But as you level up, you can craft or buy or farm up jugs that you can use as your offhand, like your shield. And these will summon specific companions other than your chocobo. So instead of your chocobo, you would summon whatever your jug companion is. You could have the same companion trees, you could have everything the same for it, but maybe it uses different animated abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
That way it at least gives something for the class that makes it unique, rather than just being like, oh, it's a more limited summoner. I want something unique, like having jugs, like having specific companions, or I would love to see Pankration come back. Final Fantasy Pokemon battles, basically, where in 11 you would go out, you would use this little camera, you would capture the soul of a monster, and you would use it to fight these 1v1 arena style battles.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Pankration somehow make a return and come into 14 being like maybe a gold saucer event or something that Beastmaster specific, even where you could have these battles between the things that you can charm and summon. And I don't think it's too far-fetched, but I don't think they'll go that route unless something sparks that same interest that I have. But these are things I would love to see for that class.
Oh, well, that's some good thoughts there. It would definitely be interesting if they pull that off.
Yeah, it's just above my pay grade to pull it off though. So I mean,
Whether-
talk to Yoshi, like a couple days, whatever. Like he and I going out to lunch, I'll slide it in. But
Whether it's actually
Yeah.
like monster versus monster through the players or through some kind of duty or something, that would be interesting. I think
I'm definitely interested in seeing what they do with Beastmaster.
Mhm.
If they curtail it close to what 11 was, or if they don't.
or if they kill it like Blue Mage.
Well, we have seen I think 2 characters in the game that were Beastmasters, and one of them had an axe as a weapon, like a side axe, not a warrior axe, but like a
Like a hatchet.
one-handed hatchet type axe, and
Which is
Interesting.
on par for 11 Beastmaster.
mhm. I wonder if after all this time, maybe he'll come back, and that could even be a part of the unlocking, is doing a regular Baja story or something. Who knows? I think he's still alive, technically, in the story. Or it could just be a completely different set of NPCs. Well, I think that's about it for our job changes and wish lists. Wants and predictions. We're gonna see what happens here in a couple days with what they talk about. We'll see if they go as in depth as what we were talking, or if they're just going to show some Picto and Viper stuff. But I'm assuming they'll go pretty in depth, especially given that the overall 14 community has been waiting a really long time to get some more updates on the jobs themselves outside of just what they are. And when we do our next episode, we can really delve in and discuss what was discussed on the live stream, and then kind of see how that compares to the theories and things we talked about here today in this episode. Let's see, before we end here, because we're kind of getting up there in time, going for about an hour. Did want to mention a few things about our Wing games. And before we get there, what do you guys think about this Helldiver situation that we've recently had happen? The whole PSN debacle.
I feel sorry for Arrowhead and the developers that they had to work with a publisher that for too long would not budge on their own stance in order to garner a community. I understand that a publisher's job is to make money. They publish the game, they are a company, they make money for their shareholders, for themselves, etc. But I believe them not budging on the PSN linking thing up until the point that they did really hurt a great company and a great game, because there was like 300,000 negative reviews on the game just because people couldn't play it.
Do we want to, for the episode here, do we want to go into just a quick rundown of what happened?
So Arrowhead Studios, which is the developer for Helldivers 1, Helldivers 2, and other games, had worked with PlayStation to, for the first 6 months, not require your PlayStation account to be linked in order to play the game. There are a lot of countries out there that cannot actually access the PSN, the PlayStation Network. They are not allowed to make accounts or link accounts, so they were allowed to play Helldivers 2 infinitely, as much as they wanted, without having a PSN account, which wasn't applicable in their country. So, after this 6-month period, PlayStation decided it was time to require the PSN account link in order to play Helldivers, which locked out hundreds of thousands of players. It locked out so many people that wanted to play the game and couldn't, just because it wasn't available in their country at all. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them had even said that if it was available, they would have, but they couldn't. And so everybody believed that it was Arrowhead that was started requiring their PlayStation account to be linked. So they started taking it out on the developer, whose only job is to develop the game. They create the game, they give it to the publisher handles all sales in all countries, and then they handle it from there. So PlayStation, being the company that was the publisher, sold it in all these countries knowing that PlayStation Network wasn't available there, and it created so much outrage that the consumer, the audience, decided to start negative review bombing Helldivers 2 on Steam, and it got, as I said, 200 or 300,000 negative reviews in like a week before PlayStation finally backed down their decision.
Wow.
They did inform everybody up front that at some point in time you were going to have to do it. Now, was it in small writing? Yes. But they did tell everybody that at some point in time you're going to have to link your PlayStation account.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do now, but for right now they backed off on it. The only games before Helldivers 2 that they didn't require a PlayStation account being linked was Ghost of Tsushima and crap, I forgot the other one.
Horizon?
Yes, Horizon.
Okay.
So those were the only two games that did not require a PlayStation account linked. Helldivers 2 is currently the only online game that does not require a PSN account because Arrowhead worked their butt off to make their consumer happy, that they could just play the game and have fun.
See the community manager guy that was suggesting all those negative reviews and then got fired?
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's, I get why, but that's also
Right.
sad.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Helldivers 2 still going strong regardless of the debacle. There is some content that was announced for the game not too terribly long ago, though it's not what we consider one of our official wings. We do like to see people playing together. We got probably let's see, we had a community night a while back. It was kind of an impromptu type thing. They had a pretty funny video that we got out of that, and still have a little bit more footage to work with from that night. It's pretty fun. Would definitely like to get more people playing together too within our community. As far as our Wing games go, mentioned earlier in the podcast, the SWTOR 7.5 update, when that does come out, is introducing there's a spring event that's going to be bringing a type of like farming and pie making system to SWTOR, as well as a number of other like just kind of everyday life updates on top of story and such, as well as a new venture system, which was really funny because during the stream they were talking about ventures. Everybody in the stream chat started talking, well, not everybody, but a lot of people in the stream chat started talking about FF14 ventures. And ventures that are coming to SWTOR are more like, in my opinion, they're closer to 14's tribe quests, where you go out and you do a daily, and then what that daily is tied to is basically an NPC that you're also like slowly evolving, that becomes a companion. So imagine going out to do a beast tribe quest to help your retainer, who you summon like a chocobo, to slowly evolve over time. Which is kind of interesting. Makes me wonder if there's going to be more like upgradable companions in the future. Because right now we've got the Basilisk droid, which is like a large dog with guns for a face, and that's interesting. An old B3S1, which they call Bessie for short, and they've got a story right now going after Darth Maul's holocron. So interesting to see where that goes. If we'll actually get it this time or in the next update. And there's a number of PvP updates coming as well. I know a lot of players were kind of upset about the PvP lag in SWTOR in some years prior. A lot of things have come out that have kind of made that a bit more of an enjoyable experience. On myself, I usually do a Starfighter here and there, and maybe one of the conquest maps or something like that. It's not bad. It's not bad. The PvP seasons and the new Galactic seasons they've been doing for a while now. It does give you a little bit more to do in the end game, and expecting to kind of see that drop within the next month, I hope. Mostly for the story and seasonal stuff. Like I said earlier, they said spring event. Spring is pretty much over, just about. So they've got a little bit longer. So like I said, hopefully that's soon. Usually when they start doing the developer stream for the next patch, the content comes out pretty soon. So aside from that, mentioning Destiny 2 Lightfall earlier, a new Titan subclass, not Titan subclass, Guardian subclass for all other classes. It's coming out called the Prismatic class, which combines a bit of the previous ones. Looks really interesting having all of those powers and abilities at your disposal, including a new system where you build up a little bar to where you not only have your special, or your super, as we call it, But then after as this bar builds up on the screen, you're also able to use more abilities as well. So doing a little bit of all the previous stuff combined in one is really interesting. And they're also eliminating the Crucible, Vanguard, and Gambit bounties are going away, and turning into a type of like global bounty. It's kind of interesting. I forgot what they called it. There's a specific name for that new bounty that's coming out. But the bounties are basically the dailies that you pick up, that you buy with the in-game currency to do whenever you want to do them, and they always have specific tasks to them, and then give rewards and reputation ranks to the different NPCs. Interesting to see that getting combined, or at least combined into a global type of bounty. Makes me wonder what the NPCs will also offer based on those. So with the new subclass, bounty changes, and of course there's a lot of other things we can get into. Probably have an entire Final Shape podcast if we were to actually talk about all the things coming next month in Destiny 2. But just overall, in a nutshell, there's a couple of those updates, and recently we had the Into the Light Part 2 come out. That is not so much a season or a patch, it is just kind of a ongoing event that they started last month with Part 1. Part 1 introduced a new Onslaught mode, which is a Horde mode style gameplay, 3-man content. You'd be basically building turrets, building decoys, and tripwires while fighting hordes of enemies from the Witnesses' forces, while defending usually either the last city, Vostok, or the Moth Yards. And it's kind of simple. Over time, you kind of get the hang of it really quick, and it's mainly for farming the Brave weapons, which are kind of like I don't know if you could call them relics, but they're more like items that have previously been taken out of the game or banned from the game. They're back. They're like really good weapons that are back. And hey, thank you for subscribing. It's awesome. Appreciate it. And so between the Brave weapons and there's a what is it? The Whisper of the Worm, which is a very, 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 very nice sniper rifle. We did a video not too long when a bunch of us went out and got the Whisper sniper and the Catalyst. It was pretty fun little challenge there. It's another one that's been gone for a long time that they've brought back. And these are really, really nice weapons, especially the Brave weapons. Basically entails doing a quick quest with Shaxx and going out and getting a certain number of kills or rapid kills. Some of them even include Guardian kills if Crucible's your thing. And completing those quests gives you a curated weapon, but then you can continue to farm them for the individual roles. So if you want to go for like a demigod or god role, then you basically will continue to farm that. Let me see here, one sec. Yeah. So yeah, I was just checking something. Oh, thank you, Defensor.
I guess I didn't do that before. Oops.
No, it's all good. Yeah. So Final Shape, and Into the Light. Into the Light, like I said, is the ongoing event. The part 2 of it brought us what's called Pantheon, which is basically like a boss rush. So a lot of raid bosses from previous raid encounters are in this boss rush without having to do the raid itself, while also getting quite a bit of nice loot as well. Yesterday for our weekly Azure Wardens D2 clan day, we decided to take on Pantheon. We had a 6-man group go in and learn for about an hour and a half, 2 hours of learning the fight mechanics. They're really not bad. It was just a process of learning how to do them all while not dying to where we kept using like the tokens too much for dying, and that's what got us in the end. It was either that or this one thing that they're not really tanks, but they would be equivalent to being like tanks. Would have to do to distract the boss. A couple of times we made mistakes on those, and a debuff that causes you to explode and kill everybody. it has to be taken to the boss at a certain point. So just learning those mechanics and getting them down while staying alive long enough is basically the key. We do have a couple videos going up too on our YouTube from recent events, as well as 14 events and Azure Warden's activities, so you can kind of see what we were learning yesterday. Tomorrow, actually, we'll be attempting it again to try and clear the Golgoroth encounter, which we spent quite a bit of time learning yesterday. So what's nice is we'll have a video that kind of teaches that fight, as well as a video that hopefully tomorrow clears it. And we'll see what we get from that. Once we get probably to the next Warden's Clan Night, we'll most likely be learning another one and then trying to do the same thing. And then eventually we may even have a group that can continue to do Pantheon and get as much as we can from it before the expansion launch. I don't know if the Into the Light content will still be available. I think a lot of it's going away with the expansion. The expansion's also bringing a lot of other stuff. This is kind of like lore-wise, this is us gearing up before taking on the Witness and all of his forces that are invading Earth and the solar system in Final Shape, which we're also going to the Heart of the Traveler in. It's going to be very, very trippy and really interesting. So getting prepared over there in Destiny, getting geared up and increasing our arsenals and getting as many of those Brave weapons. Brave weapons are really cool because there's a % chance at the shiny ones, and those are really, really neat too. You can grab a hold of one of those with good stats. Other than that, all weekend, the special NPC Zur that sells the good stuff, he's at the tower in the hangar. So if you're listening to this and it's still the weekend here, before Sunday, don't forget to go check Zur at the tower. And I could go into a list of stuff that ESO's bringing, but that is a very big list. And just to sum it up, it's an expansion. So expect a new area, no new class this time, and a chunk more story. But the fun thing about ESO expansions is it's like they're not like with 14 where you got to start at a Realm Reborn and get to Endwalker and Dawntrail. You basically can just go into whatever you have unlocked content-wise and start whatever MSQ that you want to. So if you're in our community and you're like kind of intimidated by the amount of content in ESO, know that if you do buy the content, and you should very much be able to start the Gold Road chapter after just progressing just a little bit into the story. I'm not sure if there will be requirements. I haven't seen any announced. But that's what the case was with previous releases like Necrom and some others. So some fun stuff coming there too. Really interested to see how that story plays out and leads into the future as well. And of course, don't forget that we do have a number of online sites that's reporting news just about every day here, if not every day. Throughout all of our social media sites, which you could find on our website under the services tab. There is a whole bunch of links there, as well as our directory in Discord, as well as pinned on the Azure X account. There is a whole bunch of links to all of our like resources and websites and things like that. We want our community to know the breadth of content that's out there for Azure and the ability to stay updated. It's very far and wide. So don't forget to check some of those out and follow where necessary or where you like to hang out online, whether it's Tumblr, X, or even YouTube updates, things like that. They are out there just about every day. And as far as our Ascension project that we announced at the start of the year, or closer to the start of the year at least, we have talked a bit about some of that progress today, but a lot of it has to do with Dawntrail readiness and fine-tuning things. And so far, we are making great progress. There's a post on AzureInfinitum.com that we've referenced in the past. It's called Ascension. It's also a video that announced it. And all of the goals and things in there had just a lot of strengthening, like the backbone of Azure, working on support ranks, building up our council, recruitment, just fine tuning a lot of stuff, redoing how we do assemblies and communications, rebooting our podcast. There was a lot of things listed on there, and so far we've accomplished quite a bit of that. I'm really thankful and proud of everybody for the progress that we have made. It's been something. All right. Did you guys have any closing thoughts?
Not for me.
Make Dark Knight great again.
Make Dark Knight great again.
Just wanted to drive that point home. No, I think we pretty much covered it. Other than I'm excited for all of the events coming up and for the slight break from events before Dawn Trail to just get a whole bunch of these actual Final Fantasy events that are coming up, grinding those out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll be
so many events this year.
So much. It's going to take all of my time anyway. So
I'm looking forward to punching Gomez in the face in 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I haven't done that yet. I need to punch him in the face again.
Monstrous Mondays, we have moved the event to working on Voidcast Dice or Deus progression. So that is our rotating weekly EX trials for 14 event, learning party, and potential clears. And we've been having a little update in Discord. It's been running for about a little over a week now. Just reminding people, please come informed. It is a learning party, but that doesn't mean that just like watching a video doesn't mean that you're going to know everything. Showing up to learn without knowing anything also doesn't help too much. It's more helpful to our event if we have some attendees that have actually looked up a little bit on the fight and kind of know what to expect, and then we can practice together and hopefully clear it.
Yep. And join Discord. You don't have to talk, but hearing the call outs from Major or the other hosts helps greatly.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. All right.
Like I said, you don't have to talk. I know people have issues talking, and that's fine. But it's good to be able to hear us.
Definitely consider joining VC for our events. Like Defensor is saying, if you don't have a mic or you're shy, you can still listen in. So you can, if you want to type, to communicate somewhere, that's fine. But it's really, really, really important for attendees of our content events like raids and stuff that are more more serious than just doing map nights and things like that, to be able to hear those call outs and to be able to kind of have the same reaction as everybody else after getting told, don't stand in that, watch out for this is coming up. It just kind of gives that extra edge to our comms and our communications and our fluidity as a team while doing those. So I want to thank everybody who has made it to the end of this episode and stuck by or popped in to watch us for a bit. Thank you for listening and watching Azure Infinitum podcast. We covered quite a bit actually today in the last hour and a half. Big roadmap segment and discussing everything this year. We really wanted to kind of go over all that with our viewers and listeners here. And that, as they say, is a wrap.
I can't rap.
McDonald's.
What? McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's wrap.
Oh, man.
Oh, those shitty things that give me diarrhea? No, thank you.
Wanting something to eat now.
Oh, my God.
All right.
That's probably just the beefy residue.
Oh, man.
Booty shooties, baby. Booty shooties.
Lovely thought to end our episode here.
Yes. Well, it makes me feeling better. If it's beef related, I will die.
What'd you say, Rack?
Said it's the booty shooties.
The booty shooties?
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not heard that before. That's a new one.
Yeah, whenever my friends and I would have somebody with a little indigestion or whatever, they'd say they have the booty shooties.
Oh my.
Because it's a cute way of saying that they have gastrointestinal distress.
Salad shooter.
Yeah.